Some say Chinese is one of the most difficult languages in the world, and learning it is almost impossible.
So learning Chinese, the most difficult thing.
非常非常非常非常非常难
So I'm sort of tone deaf. I can't really hear them.
I think the cultural mindset is the biggest complication for
The
us.
grammar.
知吃思吃都还难
It's just complicated. So much.
Only because you're not learning it in the right way. Why not try Takeaway Chinese, where you can take some Chinese away and experience progress day by day. Takeaway Chinese, we will promise you a difference.
你好，欢迎收听随行汉语 Welcome to Takeaway Chinese. I'm 牛红林. Joining me today, Georgia Massett. Hello, Georgia.
Hello everyone, good morning. I hope everyone is having a great day.
Great to have you on the show as always. And I think we've talked about a lot of Chinese related stuff, and I recently developed a very interesting, let's say, appetite over tea. So I wanted to ask you whether or not you like Chinese tea.
I actually do. I'm a big fan of tea. I'm more of a coffee person, but at night and especially during, I think tea is one of those beverages you could drink either in summer or in winter. I prefer tea in winter, of course, I think as everyone, but I don't know if I'm doing something weird here that I wasn't supposed to do, but I like to freeze my tea and put it in the fridge and drinking as a refresher during the day.
Oh, it's not weird at all. Actually, there are so many different ways to drink tea. I mean, having it hot, having it cold, having it even cold brew overnight, adding milk, adding honey, adding fruit, adding flowers, and young girls would add a lot of different ingredients, including the bubble. There's just some very chewy jelly bowls, and also there are different types of the bowls and different types of the jelly and different flavor, and that's how young girls are doing it. And another way is the reason that I rediscovered my love for tea, that is 围炉煮茶.
围炉煮茶?
Yes, do you know what it means?
No, I don't.
Well, it is something very interesting. Actually, it is a traditional Chinese tea culture practice that involves gathering around a stove, which is the 围炉 part. So 围 actually means to gather around, and 炉 is the stove or a small fireplace, to brew tea and roast some nuts. And 煮 is the brew and 茶 is the tea. So 煮 in itself actually is boil, but you brew tea, you boil water and brew tea. In the meantime, you can enjoy some sweet potatoes, roast them with the dough, and rice cakes or oranges to pair with the tea. And yes, we would also roast the oranges a little bit. It tastes really good, actually.
I've actually never tried. It sounds whereas the tea is very important, but the social gathering makes it very special.
It is very special. And actually, recently, it's starting to be a trend of doing or practicing the 围炉煮茶 tradition again among young people. People gather together, enjoy a little bit of tea, a little bit of roasted oranges and other snacks. And like you said, we talk about things in life and work and enjoy the social gathering. And it is seen as a relatively elegant and fun and really relaxed and chill thing to do.
Oh, this sounds so cozy. And at the same time, I feel like there is this trend among young people to take things more slow. And it sounds like a very good way to do that, to catch up and also to enjoy some tea together.
Yes, and later on, we're going to explain the idea of 围炉煮茶 a bit more. So for our dear listeners, if you're interested in Chinese culture and you want to get a grip on the Chinese language, then this is the show for you. Stick with us for 30 minutes and you soon see the rewards. And for more fun Chinese learning, follow our Facebook page, Learn Chinese, to watch many fun videos and live streams. But now, let's provide you with some free Chinese for takeaway.
我听说中国有一种很特别的休闲方式，叫做围炉煮茶。
是啊，想象一下，在一个悠闲的下午，和三五好友围坐在一起，聊天、喝茶，吃一些小零食，
感觉非常温馨舒适。 我们也一起去体验一下呗。
当然可以。
And that's the conversation. See? Gather together, enjoy tea, 围炉煮茶. Very nice.
Oh, this is a conversation we could have when I come to China.
We definitely should. But let's learn how to say them in Chinese first, so we can actually have it in Chinese. Yes. So for the first sentence, 我听说中国有一种很特别的休闲方式，叫做围炉煮茶。
I heard that there's a very special leisure activity in China called brewing tea over a stove.
Yes. So 我听说
I heard.
We've seen this so many times. 听 hearing, 说 saying, hearsay, I heard someone saying. So I heard that 中国
in China
有一种
there is a particular.
Yes. Actually, we know 有 is half and 一种 one. So you can kind of understand it as China has a very special way of relaxing. I like it too, but that's the idea. And I like it when you every time see 这儿有一个那里有 something, you would translate it as there is, because yes, pairing things up would actually help you make the connection between a word in one language, in language A, and a word in language B. It's how I learn English myself. That is, sometimes you need to understand the logic, understand the grammar behind it, but sometimes simply connecting the two words, connecting the two phrases, connecting the two sentence patterns would help you to reflect faster. It's kind of like saying when people ask you, how much is 1 plus 1? You do not need to actually do the calculation. You know it's 2. It's easier. So yes, I love it when you directly translate it as there is.
No, sorry, it makes more sense for me. I don't know if it's like this for everyone.
Well, it's actually good. It makes more sense to you. I love it. And then we have 很特别.
很特别, very special, very particular.
Very special. So we know 很 is the very part, and 特别 is special. So 特别 special. Moving on, we have 休闲方式.
Leisure activity.
Leisure activity. So 休闲.
休闲 leisure, free time.
Yes. So 休 carries the meaning of 休息, so have a rest. So if you want someone to have a rest because they've been working so hard, you can say, 你应该休息一下，你看起来很累, you look really tired, you should rest a little bit. That's 休息. And 闲.
The activity related to spending some time. No?
Actually, 闲 means not busy. So this is a funny thing because 休息 we know is take a rest, and 闲 is like not busy or having some free time. So the feeling of 休闲 is like you take some time to rest, to don't do anything, or don't do much things, or don't do many things.
So winding out
a little bit. So have some time to rest, to enjoy. So that's 休闲, and the 方式 is type or a way of doing certain things. So it is a good way to spend some not so busy resting time. 休闲方式. And 叫做.
叫做, the name is, it's called.
叫做, it's called 围炉煮茶.
围炉煮茶, our word for today. So brewing tea over charcoal.
Yes, that's 围炉煮茶. And we've already talked about 围 being the gather together, and 炉 is a stove, 煮 is to brew or to boil, and 茶 is the tea. 围炉煮茶. And I have to say, before I think this year, or at most 2 or 3 years ago, I would not imagine 围炉煮茶 becoming a word that everybody knows about, 围炉煮茶 becoming an activity that everybody enjoys. It's funny to see how traditional fun or traditional way of spending leisure time revitalize among today's young people.
Oh, that's very nice. And also, it's something very recent. I didn't know about that.
It is something very recent. And moving on, we have 是啊，想象一下。在一个悠闲的下午，和3、5好友围坐在一起，聊天、喝茶，吃一些小零食。
Yes, just imagine on a leisure afternoon, sitting together with a few friends, chatting, drinking tea, and having some snacks.
Yes, and this is actually let's call it And this is actually the things we're talking about, the fun and leisure activity we can enjoy. So for the part 是啊,
Sure, you're right, you're correct. Yes.
想象.
Imagine.
Imagine. So 想 is to think. 想, I would always understand 想 as picture. Think about this picture. Imagine something, right?
Picture this.
Yes. And 一下.
A little. Imagine a little bit.
In most occasions, we can translate it as a little bit. But here, I would rather translate it as for this time. So imagine this. It's like you're painting a picture for them so they can actually think about the picture you're painting. So like for this once. It can sometimes be a little bit, sometimes, be like I'm not spending a lot of your time or wasting a lot of time. That kind of connotation is definitely there. So it's not wrong to say imagine a little bit. But I personally would still prefer the think about this now kind of translation.
Okay.
And
imagine this scenario.
Yes, imagine this. 在
to be in
一个
one
悠闲
悠闲力
We talked about 休闲 being having free time, not doing anything, a little bit busy resting time. And 悠闲 actually carries more of the laid back, very chill kind of feeling. So 一个悠闲的下午
the afternoon. I wanted to ask you the difference between the two. So could they be interchangeable, or is one more laid back and more relaxing situation?
Well, to start with, I think the feelings are definitely similar. It's talking about this very chill, laid back, not so busy, resting kind of, connotation. The thing is, my feeling is that 休闲 is like a verb. You're resting and relaxing. So go rest and relax, which is why 休闲方式, the way to relax and rest, it's a verb. Whereas 悠闲 is an adjective. So you can say this place is very 悠闲. It sends out this very relaxing vibe. You can say 这段时间他看起来很悠闲. This person is very relaxed. It looks like he does not have a lot of things to do. He looks relaxed. So I think the difference between these two words are the nature of them and how you use them in a sentence.
Oh, now I understand. And can I also ask you, could it, as you said, it can be used to describe a person. Is there a negative connotation of someone being also a little lazy, or just someone very relaxed?
Oh, yeah, definitely. There are so many words talking about people being too lazy. We have a one that is perfectly, I think I have a perfect one here that is 懒散.
懒散.
Yes. So 懒 is basically lazy. And 散, you can find 散 in places like 散漫 or 松散. So it's very loose. So for example, if someone is on a tight schedule, or maybe the management is running a very tight kind of managing style, then you're telling everybody when to do what, you're asking for results all the time, then definitely the schedule, or let's say the itinerary, is very tight. But if it's very 散 or 松散, it's very loose, it's very scattered around, you only have to do two things in 1 month, then it's definitely very 散, right? So if this person is 懒, lazy, and having not a lot of things on his agenda, then, lazy and not a very... Well, the reason I'm picking this word is because 懒散 is definitely a negative kind of description if you're using it on somebody, but it's not that horrible. It's like this person is not super hardworking, and he is, 散漫, 态度散漫. He's like, I can do this, I can do that, I don't really care. But you don't hate this person. This person does not bother your life so much. It's that kind of negative.
It depends on how you take it, and I think I would get offended, but...
Oh yeah, me too. It's negative for sure. Moving on, 和三五好友
And having a couple between 3 and 5 good friends.
So 和三五好友围坐一起. Here, actually, 和 is to with, and 三五好友 is kind of like a set phrase. So 三 we know is 3, 五 is 5, 好友 is good friends, and 三五好友 actually is used to talk about not 3 and or 5 friends. It's like several friends. And you cannot really use other numbers. Please don't say 和二四好友. It does not work like that. It's a set phrase. Just remember this one.
I thought that 6 would have been too many for the tea party.
Well, I think as long as it's not more than 10 people, it's okay. But we're not talking about that. And it's just personal for different people. I think the standards are different. Yes. But here, 三五好友 is like not so many friends, but we're gathered together. And if we're having a party, then you're having too many people. For this kind of activity, 围炉煮茶, you would still prefer the atmosphere to be relatively quiet. Not too many people are talking at the same time. And you would even spend some time just having your imagination going all the way to the universe and not talking at all. And that's why I guess it's 三五好友, just, a handful of friends.
Yes, very good. So we took the pangyo out. I don't know if it makes sense. Would it be good also to say 三五好朋友们?
Oh, no, actually, 三五好友, again, you can understand it as a set phrase. Just use 三五好友 to describe the situation with several friends. We're doing something relatively intimate, sociable, but relatively intimate.
Okay.
And 围坐.
围坐, to sit around.
To sit around. So 围 carries the meaning of around, and 坐 is to sit down. So sit around. 围坐. 在一起.
As being together.
Being together. 聊天. 聊天 to chat. 喝茶.
喝茶 to drink tea.
吃一些小零食.
And eating some little snacks.
So 零食 is snacks, and 小 is like small food, which just like you can say 零食 for sure, but 小零食 is just to stress or to paint a more vivid picture.
So it's not a full meal, it's just some little snacks.
Definitely. 感觉非常温馨舒适，我们也一起去体验一下呗。
It sounds very sweet and cozy. Let's go experience it together.
感觉
it sounds, it feels like
非常
very
温馨 is definitely sweet, sweet and pleasant, and 温 is kind of like warm. So if someone is very warm with you, then they must be very nice. And 温馨 is not the kind of sweet you use for romantic relationships. It's more like talking about the kind of atmosphere that you would enjoy among friends and family.
Something that makes you comfortable.
Yes. 舒适
cozy.
Cozy. And 我们
We
也
also
一起
together
去
to go to
体验
experience this.
一下
A little.
Here it is definitely a little. See, when you're talking about 想象一下, it's more like imagine for once. But 体验一下 is like enjoy it a little. But we know that with different verb, this a little could require definitely different length of time. But it's okay to do that. Okay. And 当然可以.
Of course we can. Sure.
Of course we can. 当然可以, sure. And that's the conversation. Do you have any other questions?
Yes, I wanted to ask you, it's at bei. What's the difference between bei and ba at the end of the sentence?
Actually, there's no difference. They're definitely interchangeable and...
Okay.
Yes. You can use any one that you like. Oh, except...
Oh, that's very nice.
Except that I just suddenly realized, bei, if you're being passive aggressive and you want to make it super obvious, sometimes you can use bei.
Oh, okay. I will have to write this down.
Yeah, for example, if you really want to do something and your friend declined your request so many times, you can say, 那算了呗. It's like, never mind.
Never mind. Oh, we'll go another time. Okay, this is
but
there's something to write in the group chat.
but this 算了呗 is a little bit. Of course, you have to listen to the tone and read the room and read between the lines and everything. But my feeling is that with this 呗, you can add a little bit of passive aggressive in your sentence.
Oh, this is very useful.
It's actually very funny, but don't be passive aggressive. Having, good communication is good. All right, so that's the conversation. Do you want to give it a go?
Yes, of course.
Okay, let's try it.
我听说中国有一种很特别的休闲方式，叫做围炉煮茶。
是啊，想象一下，在一个悠闲的下午，和三五好友围坐在一起，聊天、喝茶，吃一些小零食。
感觉非常温馨，宿舍我们也一起去体验一下呗。
Perfect! You're listening to Takeaway Chinese with myself, Niu Li, and Georgia. We would love to hear from you. Send us your thoughts via email to learnchinese@cri.com.cn. Coming up next, let's continue talking about 围炉煮茶 and how come this traditional way of spending your leisure time becomes more popular today. Don't go away, so you will take some Chinese away. Welcome back to Takeaway Chinese. I'm Niu Honglin, joined by Georgia Masset. So, I want to ask you, 围炉煮茶. If use your wild imagination, 想象一下, what would be the major fun of this special type of, leisure activity?
Oh, to me, I think this weekend I will be doing 围炉煮茶 without even realizing it. And this is so fun. I will go camping with some friends and we will bring a little stove with charcoal. And I think that to me, the most fun part, and it's reconnecting to nature and taking things slow. So not needing an artificial fire or something that we use every day, for example, a microwave or other easier way to cook some tea, but just taking it slow and doing it the old way and taking sweet time, which is something that we never do. And in my imagination, this is the best thing about 围炉煮茶.
Yes, it definitely is. And in the meantime, actually, with summer coming, a popular activity now among young people is 围炉冰茶. So we know 围炉煮茶 is the brewing of hot tea, and 冰, we know it's ice. Brewing iced tea over a stove, which is the literal translation, refers to replacing the charcoal fire in the stove with ice cubes and using dry ice to, provide an elegant and fun and even mysterious atmosphere. You can totally imagine that. Yes.
With a little fog.
It's definitely super fun. And the tea for 围炉冰茶 have also been changed. The traditional freshly brewed tea is replaced with cold brewed tea. We talked about cold brewed already a little bit in the first part of the show. And the tea is cold brewed in advance, then bottled in aesthetically pleasing glass bottles and placed among ice cubes. And a sip of this tea is refreshing and cool and bringing a burst of chillness, and paired with beautifully plated fresh-cut fruits and tea snacks, it is praised as a very afternoon tea. And I actually talked a little bit about, finding my love for tea. And that was several weeks ago. I had this 围炉煮茶 experience with my aunties. We went to a countryside area. Actually, we went to our hometown, I think it's not even my hometown. I've never been there. It's my grandparents' hometown. And we went there. We were sitting in the balcony of the house. We were looking at the mountains not so far away, but relatively far away, the greenery and the fruit and definitely the tea. And with all these elements combined, I suddenly realized that in the bustling city center, you are missing something quite important in life, because if you're sitting there and staring at the trees and mountains, you realize something that you have been neglected for quite a lot of time. That is the inner self, and you concentrate on yourself, you meditate a little bit, and that experience is actually quite precious for me.
Oh, I completely agree. Have you ever tried 这炉冰茶?
Yes, that's what I tried. 围炉冰茶.
Wow. Sorry, I thought it was the regular
围炉
tea.
煮茶.
It
No,
must
it's
be
冰茶
so...
because it's really
Yes.
hot these days.
Yeah, I can only imagine. And I will have it this weekend and then I will tell you. But the most important part is reconnecting with yourself and your loved ones that maybe we don't see as often, or when we see them, we are very in a rush, always doing something, and disconnecting and just taking some time, not even to always talk, also to just stare together at the nature and having this very unique experience of being together, which doesn't happen very often.
Definitely. And hopefully in the future, more people would find the beauty in tea. I mean, I am only a rookie here because there are so many things you can learn and enjoy about tea. Tea is the world's second most popular beverage, and the first one is water. So, definitely tea, in my opinion, is the first, the most popular one. And the tea, there are a lot of different trivials about tea and different ways to enjoy tea. In China, we have this really rich tea culture, but it's not only in China. Around the world, there are tea lovers out there, and we are being both honoring the tradition by drinking the traditional tea and also being very innovative in making milk tea and using different types of ingredients, including flour and fruit in tea, and all these are just quite pleasing. And hopefully more people can be able to enjoy all this. And that brings us to the end of today's Takeaway Chinese. I'm Niu Honglin with Georgia Masset. For more episodes of the show, you can visit our website at radio.cgtn.com and go to the column podcast. You can also listen to the show and read the script there. Find us wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Just search for Takeaway Chinese. Don't forget to leave your questions, comments, and ratings. 感谢收听，我们下期再见。
Goodbye, everyone. See you soon. 再见。